Hello everyone, my name is Salim and welcome to the Markets Breakdown Analysis for Monday, the 30th of October 2023. We'll be breaking down charts and show the exact zones where price will close for potential buys or close below for potential sells as well. So looking at the previous weekly candle, the weekly closed bearish, rejecting the upside, potentially, let's say, forming a resistance around 182.020. But in my opinion, this is just a range on the weekly time frame. We're just going to go back to this one again. So looking at the monthly time frame, the monthly candle is pushing bearish again, still respecting this monthly resistance formed back in September 2023. Now, what we can see here on the weekly, we can clearly see we have a new range, a new consolidation area on the weekly time frame. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weekly candles ranging within a certain level. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put a line to where this weekly body lows have been formed around 181.300 and weekly body highs around 180. Let's have a look. That's 182.650. Now, what's interesting here is when you drop down to the daily time frame, this is a daily ranges. So within these daily ranges, we've had a couple of fake outs on the daily time frame. So we've had this daily fake outs that was formed within this weekly candle here previously. And then as we can see, this weekly candle ranged. So this range, this weekly candle is this range on the weekly time frame. And then again, the last weekly candle tried to break above, rejected the same area again, respected the previous daily resistance and formed a fake out again. And now looking at the daily time frame, and obviously now the anticipation is to see, and what would be good actually to see here is it would be good to see the new weekly candle pushing up, forming a top wick, and then once price break below this low, then we will have a higher probability for price to continue bearish. Now looking at the daily candle for Friday, also the daily closed bearish, breaking and closing below these ranges on a daily time frame and forming a daily resistance around 182.500. And now to break down the chart and dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, and what we can see here is we have this weak 4-hour support formed around 181.260. We have the most recent 4-hour resistance formed around 181.770. Dropping down to the hourly time frame, we can adjust the level of support to 181.100. And again, we have an hourly resistance in here, but what we can see here is this hourly high matches with this previous 1-hour support. So let's have a look on the 5-minute time frame. Now looking at the 5-minute time frame, we can again adjust the level of support to 181.050. We have a same high in here. Looking at the 15-minute time frame, again, that's the same level of support and a same rejection on this higher time frame hourly candle. So now to identify the no trade zone, and I would say ideally is to wait for price to break and close above this hourly high, which is the previous 1-hour support formed on the left around 181.460, and for potential sales could be below 181.030, below this previous daily low. And this is going to be the no trade zone. And now to look for potential buys. So going back to the actually, let's have a look again on the higher time frame. And what we can see, obviously, we have a weekly closing bearish. We still have price ranging within those daily weekly candles, dropping down to the daily time frame. Now the anticipation is to see the continuation to the downside. So the first thing we can see, we have this weekly resistance forming within this range around 182.040, dropping down to the daily time frame. We have a daily resistance around 182.480, dropping down to the 4-hour time frame. Now within the 4-hour time frame, we have this 4-hour resistance formed around 181.780. Dropping down to the hourly, we have an hourly resistance around 181.820. Looking at the 30-minute time frame, and that's the same level of resistance, and that's the same thing on the 50-minute time frame. So I'd say the first target for buys could potentially be 181.820, targeting this hourly resistance. Now the second target for buys, now we're just going to put a line to where this weekly resistance formed around 182.040. Dropping down to the daily, nothing on the daily. Obviously, we have this daily resistance, but we need to investigate what's going on within these ranges. So dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, this is a 4-hour high. Looking at the hourly, now within the hourly time frame, we have an hourly resistance formed around 182.060. Now this is roughly around 25-26 pip range. Looking at the 5-minute time frame, we have a 5-minute resistance above here. So the reason why I'm just going to stick to this hourly resistance and not the 30-minute resistance, or a weekly resistance, the daily resistance here is because the daily closed bearish, the weekly closed bearish, and the monthly is bearish at the moment. So we're not really expecting that much of a pullback if price was going to break this low. So I'd say the second target for buyers could potentially be 182.060, targeting this hourly resistance. And now to look for potential sells. So going back to the monthly, actually, monthly, there is really nothing to see apart from this rejection wick to the downside from the current monthly candle. Drop it down to the weekly time frame. On a weekly time frame, we have this weekly support formed around 180.490. Drop it down to the daily time frame. We have a daily support around 180.170. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, on the left, what do we see? We have this range. So we have this previous 4-hour support, and this is a range on a 4-hour time frame. A previous 4-hour support formed around 180.580. Drop it down to the hourly time frame. Again, this is a same level of support as well. So I would say what we're going to do here is for the first target for sales could potentially be 180.580 because that's a weekly support. That's the 4-hour support, and it's also the hourly support. So the first target would be 180.580. The second target for sales, now let's have a look again. So on the weekly, so we have this weekly support as a first target, and then dropping down to the daily. Now we have a daily support formed around 180.170. Dropping down to the 4-hour time frame and looking on the left, and we have this previous 4-hour resistance. You can clearly see how everything is actually lining up. So you have a weekly support, a daily support matching with this previous 4-hour resistance, and then let's have a look on the hourly. And what do we see on the hourly? Actually, let's have a look again. So on the hourly, we have this range. So I'd probably stick to the 4-hour time frame and the daily. So I'd say the second target for sells could potentially be this daily support formed around 180.170.
Dominion Markets, your trading sanctuary.